going to be sharing more expertise on the topic, which has to do with transforming our world through sustainable living practices. And this evening, he is going to be providing justice to some questions. And definitely, we know that you have various questions which you might want to ask us. Which the participants will also want to ask our speaker for this evening. And we just like to start by asking this very good question, which has to do with sustainability. And as we all know, that sustainability is the buzzword which you hear in everyday discourse, in every event, in every content. It definitely, you even see the government using the word sustainability, sustainable development. What do you think, and how do you think organizations, households, and individuals can act and become more proactive towards sustainability beyond mere words?
Sorry, please, can you take that again? I think I was a little...
Okay. The question I asked has to do with sustainability being a buzzword which we hear in everyday discourse and in everyday events. Everybody gets to use the word sustainability, and everybody gets to use the word sustainable development in any occasion. But it's very important for us to look at this beyond mere sayings. The question has to do with how can individuals, households, and organizations act and become more proactive towards sustainability, towards practicing sustainability.
Okay, thank you very much. First off, kudos to you, Mr. Emmanuel, and to everybody who has been a part of the challenge so far, the partnering organizations and the individuals that have taken it upon themselves to be part of the challenge. I have been following, and it's been very rich. The daily posts and the history behind some of the things that we campaign for daily through the project, then the call to action, and it's been very beautiful. So kudos to the team behind all of that. So sustainability as a word, it's trending now, and I'm happy that it's a word that is trending, that people can use everywhere and anywhere. Though sometimes it takes away because it's so common, it now looks like it's a word you can just fit into a sentence to make your sentence look good, or it's a word you can add to your project to make your project look good and all that. But I really wish more than how popularly it is used, that people are actually executing projects with sustainability in mind. So it's basically a combination of two words: sustainability, sustain and ability. So, and it's pretty straightforward. Sustainability deals with maintaining our ability as humans to meet our needs, and also the potential for future generations to meet their needs. So it's a wholesome system that is supposed to help us as humans manage how we use resources on the planet, the resources we have been blessed with on this planet, how we use them efficiently and effectively to meet our needs, not at the detriment of the environment where we are getting these resources from, and also thinking in mind how the generations that will come after us would also have access to some resources. So that's the word sustainability, sustainable development. So people use them interchangeably, although some persons argue that sustainable development is more wholesome, but really it's basically the same thing. And how people can get to be more sustainable, well, first is for everybody to really understand the meaning of sustainability, and as individuals to know how in all our doings sustainability applies to us, or how we can be sustainable in all our doings, how in our different professions, in our different backgrounds, in our different communities, in our different workspaces, we can instill sustainability as a culture, as a daily way of living, as a standard practice in our operations. I think maybe as we continue the conversation, we'll be able to get into some more specifics.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that enlightenment. And it's very detailed. And we just want to chip one or two things. People always believe that, like you said, that people always interchange sustainability and sustainable development. And its sustainability is also more of an endpoint to sustainable development, because just like Mr. Mayokun defined that, without compromising the future generation from meeting their own needs. So all these resources has to be sustained. And just like he defined that, ability to sustain. And these are very great points. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayokun. And I would also like to ask that, as an environmental sustainability expert, how will you define the term transforming our world? What comes to mind, and what are the concepts and principles involved towards transforming our world?
Okay, thank you. So first off, I would like to keep the conversation as simple as possible. So when you say concepts and principles that come to mind, it's looking like big English, and like I have to do some Facebook presentation or mention that, okay, this certain concept or this principle. So transforming our world through sustainable living practices. For something to get transformed, it means that it's in a state that we do not want it to be, or it's in a state where we want it to change to another state that we believe is better, or we want to make it into a new state that we will love or that we appreciate more. So if we are saying transforming our world, then that means our world is in a state where it needs a change, where it needs to get a facelift, where it needs to be redefined, where it needs some resetting, where it needs to be rebranded. And the only way to transform our world really is through sustainable development. And sustainable development entails, like I said earlier, a wholesome mix of, in my Oga's words now, a wholesome mix of concepts and principles that would help us to sustain our ability as humans on Earth. So the whole, I'm sure many of us know about sustainable development goals, and another name for them is the 2030 agenda to transform our world. And if you look at all of the goals and the targets and the indicators, there are things that if we achieve, would really make the world a better place, would really make the world a great place to be, much more than it is now. But one of the ways to get to that point, point we are looking to take our world to, is through sustainable living practices. And these, we deal more with the environmental part of sustainability. Although I always make an argument that there's no sustainability, there's no sustainable development without the environment as its core foundation. Because sustainability or sustainable development is usually classified under 3 pillars: the environmental pillar, the economic pillar, and the social pillar. But again, none of the other pillars, that's the economic and social pillars, can exist without the environmental pillar. And it's very simple. A simple analogy that I will always give is, if you look around you, everything you are putting on as a person, everything you're seeing around you, any kind of material, any kind of item, they were all made from resources that were extracted from the environment. And it was after these resources, or in the process of extracting these resources, processing them, using them to create products and all that we are able to create an economy. So economy is bettered from, with extracting resources or taking resources from the environment. And it's in the use of all these materials that we have been able to create from resources from the environment that we are able to create a social life. So the environment is the foundation, the environment is the walls, the environment is the roofing, the environment is the pillar of sustainable development. So if we are going to transform our world, we definitely have to cater more for the environment. We definitely have to respect the
Absolutely.
environment. We definitely have to treat the environment with more regard, with more honor. And all of this is not just by mouth say, it's actually by how we interact with the environment, how we live daily, how we use resources from the point of extraction, the point of processing, the point of usage, the point of disposal, and everything that has to, in all ways, we interact with the environment. So we just have to interact in more sustainable patterns, in more sustainable fashions. And again, thanks to the challenge so far has been given different tasks for each day. And if you look through the challenge, you'd see that the things that that the challenge is calling us to act upon are things that we do every day as humans. So the challenge has not even been asking us to stop oil exploration, for example, or to stop. It's not calling for the very big things. It's been very personal. It's been asking us to adjust with things that we do daily as humans. Little things from how we use water, little things from how we use lights, little things from how we use plastic. So all of these things that we do every day as humans, as individuals, the things that we are calling for more sustainable action for. And it is through this kind of practices we can really transform our world. It is when individuals are that conscious. It is when individuals interacting with the environment in sustainable fashion, in sustainable patterns, that we can really make a huge difference. And another example I always, or another reference point for this is sometimes when you're doing all of these things that the challenge has been asking you to do, for example, instead of do water bottle, instead of doing bottle water, for example. So you may think that if I do this, it really does not make a difference. I am the only one doing it, or it's just 2 of us doing it, or it's just 5 of us doing it. But it really does make a difference. In a month, if you are to take bottled water every day, let's say you consume one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening, or let's even say you manage water well, you don't drink so much, you consume 2 a day or 1 a day. So that means in a month you are going to consume 30 bottled waters. And whereas if you have a water bottle, you are able to refill your water bottle. Well, if there's a source, that's another ball. If there's a source, you're able to refill just 1 water bottle for all the 30 days. So if you count all of those number of plastic bottles that you did not use because you have a water bottle, then that is you living sustainably. That is a sustainable living practice that will help to transform our world. Now, if you look beyond yourself, if you and everybody in your house gets that conscious and are practicing
Okay. Hello, Mr. Mayokun. So I think that's a network reception from his end. Definitely is going to be back shortly. Dear participants, should you have a question, would like to use the comment section to drop your questions and comments. Can you use it? Okay, while we wait for Mr. Mayokun to come back on the call, we appreciate to each and every one of us to drop a question, should in case you have a particular question you want our speaker for today to address in line to the topic, to the theme which we are treating today, which is basically on transforming our world through sustainable living practices. And like we earlier said, that the week has been so engaging, and whereby we have various lifestyle and practices that has been shared with us, starting from the rain harvesting system method, energy efficient appliances, and which I believe many of us are already putting in place, even though we might not have been able to put it in place instantly, but definitely you already have in plan that, okay, I'm going to I'm going to buy this kind of product to replace this appliance particularly, and also making use of reusable bags. And I believe by now nobody is going to the market, or nobody is going to maybe the mall or supermarket, and you are asking for nylon. By now you should be rejecting. You should even be educating people about the whereby staying without the use of nylon. And also, which move ahead to the consumption of locally grown foods. And yesterday we had the aspect of sustainable products, choosing products with less that has more sustainable attributes within. And also we add the aspect of cultivating, nurturing a green environment we add, and which is the current activity we are having for today. These has been engaging activities across boards, and I believe in so many ways it has blessed each and every one of us, and definitely it has impacted us in various ways. And this evening, as we also wait to have our guest, okay, I think he's back on the call now. Okay, Mr. Mayokun is back on the call now, so we can have him to continue his talk. But definitely, we are still coming back to each and everyone. We would like you to share your feedback with us, and we like to hear from you. But should you have any question which you want the host, our guest for today to attend to, kindly use the comment section to drop your question. Over to you, Mr. Mayokun.
Yeah, sorry, I had a network glitch. I was rounding up, but I was saying that each action we take, if other persons also take the action, I gave the example of saving 30 bottles per month if you have a water bottle instead of buying table bottled water every day. Sorry, that if a family of 5 does that, that's about 150 bottles you're saving, or a family would be saving from becoming waste. And then if we continue to do this, if a community does that, if a city does that, if a region, if a country does that, if a continent does that, on a larger scale, we are able to promote these practices, and all of our little individual actions will add up to many. And then the same way, if all of us continue to contribute in singular ways to environmental issues because of the way we interact with the environment, then it adds up to millions and billions of negative impacts or footprints that we have on the environment. Yeah, over to you, sir.
Yeah, okay. I'm just trying to check the comments. I can read the comment from Sunto. Even the money we use in buying all this bottled water that we still dispose. Okay. And there's another comment from Sunny. The effect of disposable bottles is hazardous to us and our environment. Absolutely. And you already answered the next question, which I want to ask, which has to do with the retracing the term transforming our world to the Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development. Though you are still going to speak, I will still appreciate you speak on it, definitely, because all what we are doing today is encapsulated under the global goals, and it's linked to a particular goal, maybe SDG 13, SDG 14, 15, that's mostly for environmental activities. The economic, sustainable aspect and social aspect are still there. But what do you think? How do you think, and what's the best approach for individuals to accelerate actions towards achieving the sustainable development goals?
What's the best approach for individuals, or how they can contribute to achieving the sustainable development goals? Right?
Yes.
Well, I don't know. I may not have the full answer to that, or the correct answer to that, as the case may be. But I believe that again, everybody should understand these goals. Everybody should understand what they're about. All the goals. or whichever one you want to connect with and work in line with, understand them, because it's when you understand them that you can really know when you are contributing to their actualization. Sometimes, of course, you are working and many people are doing a lot of beautiful work and they don't even know about these goals. They don't know they are contributing to actualization, but it's a global goal with global targets. So if you have an understanding of the goals, what they really entail, what they mean, and how the work you need be doing as individuals affects the actualization of these goals, whether in the positive or negative, and at least that presents you as a global citizen, keen into a project that all nations of the world have agreed to actualize or achieve together. So understanding it, being enlightened about the goals is a good way to start, and learning how the work you do, you as a student, the course you are studying, you as a worker, the work you do, learning how this directly and indirectly connects with these goals, and then also knowing how you can assess this work you're doing, and how you can say that, okay, with this work I have done, I've been able to at least contribute or do a little towards the actualization of this goal. Again, if you look at all the goals, 1 to 17, they are different. Some of them are, in short, all of them are basically intertwined. But you can always pick out definite ones that align to your work. So back to this challenge that we are having, the 30 days challenge. You mentioned that it's chiefly the 13, 15, 14, 15, climate action, life on land, life below water, life below water, life on land. Well, I disagree with you, because all of these sustainable development goals, the whole concept of sustainable development is hinged on environmental sustainability. I made that point earlier again. So, and working in all of these areas within all the different goals will really help us to have a more sustainable environment. And the fact that you are working on a goal and you understand that goal, you are working in that line, will open you up to understanding how you connect with other goals. And most times, actualization of or hitting the target, meeting the targets for the different goals will really help to make the environment better. So how individuals contribute to achievement of the goals, I already said, understand the goals, understand how your work connects with it, and then assess how the work you are doing contributes to the actualization of the goals. And as you are taking part in this challenge, for example, as you are taking on these more sustainable practices that you are transforming the world with, that's one way you are contributing to attainment of the goals. And something that is very important is that I think is, I would even classify as most important, is education. That's now that you are knowledgeable about these goals, now that you're informed about it, you need to also make others aware. You need to teach others. You need to engage, educate, and enlighten others about it. This is not the kind of knowledge you should keep to yourself for any reason, because really, if we are going to actualize those goals, we need everybody to get on board. And one of the mantras of the Sustainable Development Agenda is to leave no one behind. And in leaving no one behind, it means we have to bring everybody on board. We have to make them understand that, hey guys, there's this initiative that the whole world is working towards, and I need you guys to come on board. This is what it's about. This is how you can key into it. This is how you can contribute to it. So if people are informed and educated, then they can take on more actions for the actualization of the goals, and themselves they would also educate others. And so it begins a chain. There's a domino effect. There's a ripple effect, where one person teaches two persons. These two persons teaches another two persons. That's each of them, and the chain grows longer, and we are able to get more people on board. We are able to get more people acting. And as all of these people are acting, we are able to have a unified voice. We are able to have a unified front for action in the war against unsustainable practices, with the aim to transform our world. So if you are part of this challenge, if you have been faithful, awesome to you. if you have not been faithful, this we need to do more. Part of the faithfulness involves posting about this challenge. The fact that you post about it and some persons are seeing it will get them to come on board, will get them to, will make them curious to want to know more. Imagine posting something about same thing constantly for 30 days. So there's no way to not get to your audience, even if it's on WhatsApp. There's no way somebody is not following every day. And if at the end of the 30 days, you have been able to get somebody more conscious, more educated about sustainability and how they can also help to transform our world through in their own small ways, then it's a big achievement because this person would likely go on to teach others. So I see some comments in the chat room about taking sustainable development education to local communities. Yes, that is very important. Many people don't know.
There is a question in line to this particular question which you just spoke on. That's from Mr. Oluwafemi Abioye. He asks, we have some many interior localities who do not even know that these goals exist. Reaching out to such people on individual basis and making them practice sustainable living might be very difficult due to lack of enough structure, monitoring, and checkups that can uphold it. How do we tackle this?
Yeah, that's a very important question. Really, it's a very important question. Let's even not talk about the localities yet. Even in cities, in universities, in places where we have youths that are supposedly more exposed, many of them do not really know about these goals. Some of them do not. If you do a vox pop in a university and you ask 10 persons, have you heard about sustainable development or the SDGs? I'm sure maybe half of them would say no. So there's that. And going to the localities, yeah, it's true that many of them do not even know about these goals. And but the thing is, in some of these local communities, they even already practice sustainable development or the way they run their local communities. I'm talking about indigenous communities now. The way they run their communities, they have initiatives and strategies and systems that would even that are sustainable in nature. And some of these are some of the things we have to learn from indigenous communities. The way they relate and interact with the environment as against how we in the developed and more exposed places interact with the environment, with access to more energy, access to technological appliances or mechanical instruments and all that. But going to answering your question really, yeah, it might be difficult due to lack of infrastructure monitoring and checkups that can uphold it. So if you really want to challenges to come up in the quest to educate more people or bring more people on board, but if we want to look at those challenges really only, we may not be able to actually make any progress. So the least we can do, whether there are structures in place, whether there are initiatives or systems in place to uphold these goals or to help people to actually, be more responsible and take action for these goals, whether those are in place or not. What we can still do always without structure or with structure is teach people, we speak to people about it. That is something you can always do and you don't really need any structure for. Of course, when you have structures in place, maybe you can reach out to a larger audience per time. Like this challenge now, I'm sure we are reaching out to hundreds of people, if not thousands, through all the online campaigns and the fact that we have so many volunteers on the group. So there's a structure that is bringing so many people together. But in places where we cannot build this, there's always a word of mouth option and you can at least educate people via direct communication, via direct speech, to let them know that this exists. And hey, you guys in this community, you're already contributing to this. It's the way you practice your agriculture, with the way you manage your water resources. Already contributing to this. I remember one of the call to action is to practice rainwater harvesting. And if you go to many local communities, that's what they do mostly. So we let them know that you guys are already on track. Please continue to do this. And if you find other things that they are doing that, okay, there's this you can do better, you talk to them about it. Sometimes they don't have enough money to get it done the way it should be done and all that, but just do the least you can do. Educate them, make sure you leave an imprint, make sure you let them know that, okay, you guys are doing good here. You guys can do better here, and you are contributing, even as you are in this local space, in this local corner in the world, you are contributing to a global agenda.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you very
Over
much.
to you.
Thank you very much for the wonderful response. At this point, I would just like to admonish our participants. Would you like to ask a question from our guest for tonight? You can use the comment section to ask your question, or you can raise your hand to ask your question directly. It's more of an interactive session. And right about now, we like to know our guests the more. We like to know you the more. We like to know things you do, what you love, your favorite. And I'm going to be asking a few questions which will make our participants for today to know you. The very first question is, which of these will you prefer, a cup of tea or a cup of coffee?
Well, that would depend. If it's to eat, if I like bread a lot, so if it's to go with bread, it would be a cup of tea definitely. If I have work to do and I don't want to sleep, if I have to attend a long meeting or I want to keep up late into the night, so it would be a cup of coffee. For just fun, coffee, but to go with bread because I like bread a lot, it would be tea. So yeah, it depends on the situation.
You already answered my second question, which has to do with what exactly do you like to take alongside with it. And the other question which we would like to ask is, what's your best color, your favorite, your best color?
Okay, so this one is quite interesting because I am, an environmentalist.
I call you the
very
green
crazy. People expect my favorite color to be green. Like green is like the symbol of nature, the environmentalism and all that. But then I look at it on a more grander scale. I don't really have a favorite color. I'm a Chelsea fan. Of course, there's also the affiliation with blue, but really I don't have a favorite color because all colors are part of nature. There's no color you see that is not represented in nature. In short, this existence of these colors is because there's it's part of the visible or the electromagnetic
color that you do.
So all colors represent nature. So I honestly would not say I have a favorite color, but for the gram, yeah, we'll go with green because it represents more. Or people say it represents what we do, but all colors are part of nature. As environmentalists, we are all for nature.
Awesome, awesome. We are glad to hear that. Every color that represents nature. Okay, we prefer to see a movie or visit the gym?
These options are see a movie or visit a gym. It depends on the situation. Well,
most.
Sir?
Which one do you prefer the most? Which one will you prefer the most?
As humans, we have different moods and different situations. Sometimes you want to just relax and, it's with a movie. And I don't know. I don't have an answer for that question. Really.
Okay.
Sometimes I want to see movies, but I've not gone to any gym before. So maybe for now it will be the movies because maybe when I register for a gym, I'll be able to know that I prefer going to the gym than seeing movies.
Okay, and you already mentioned that you're a Chelsea football fan. Chelsea club fan. Absolutely. So I might not need to ask that question again. All blues to other members that or your core team that are in the house. And we also like to ask, your favorite SDG?
Your questions are putting me in a box, and if you notice, I've been trying not to get boxed since you have been asking.
Okay, can you prioritize your first three, the one you let's say the first three?
Well,
amongst the
if
7 sustainable
if you are going
development
to
goals?
ask for my question, it's going to be the environment, the climate action, the life on land, life below water. But then that's even not enough because yeah, okay, let's stick with that. So let me give a definite response this time. 3, climate action, life below water, life on land.
Okay, awesome. That's a nice one. Thank you very much. Okay, I can see Dorcas and up. Dorcas, I would just like you to unmute your mic and ask your question in 30 seconds. Good evening, we can hear you.
Good evening. As an advocate for sustainable living, do you come across challenges from relevant stakeholders? Probably you want to educate people within the organization. And how do you handle such challenges successfully?
Okay, over to you, Mr. Mayoku.
Could you please take that again? I
So
lost some.
she asked that as an advocate for sustainable living, how do you handle situations whereby you want to organize a training for you want to do a training for organizations, and in one way or the other there are bottlenecks whereby they are being rejected, and how do you handle such situations?
Okay. You want to do a training for an organization.
You are introducing sustainable living to an organization or to a group of people, and maybe they are a set of people that have never heard about sustainability before. And you know that kind of approach that if it's not about money, or if it's not about something that has to benefit me at first hand, don't bring the message to me. How do you handle that kind of situation?
Okay, yeah. That's a very beautiful question. And I'm very happy that we are asking these questions that deal with reality. Because sometimes when we are all talking about these things, it looks like we are philosophizing, or we are creating a world. We are fantasizing about an ideal world and we are not talking about the challenges that may have to navigate in actually getting the message to people. So if you want to engage people, and of course, challenges would always come up in all of these things. There are challenges. Sometimes you take a message to some persons or to some cadre of persons or some group of persons, and they are not even listening to you. Some persons believe that there's nothing we can do that will change the trajectory of the world. That some believe that the world will continue and just get doomed. Some do not believe that the world will have any issues, that we would always find a way to survive as humans. So some persons will not even listen to you if it's not about money and all that. But what from personal experiences, one thing I believe that, okay, if we don't change trajectory, we are heading for a very bad place as a people on a planet. So I'm first convinced myself. So you really have to be convinced yourself that. So you can't. There are people you will converse with, and they will lay out some facts for you, whether they are true or false. There are people you converse with that would make you even lose belief in the cause of for sustainable development. So you have to be convinced yourself. You have to have that conviction, and some of that also comes from really having enough information and keeping abreast with information about things happening. All the sustainable development discourse. So you must be well equipped with information, such that when some people are presenting some cases to prove whatever you are saying, you are able to answer them, not necessarily as an argument, but you are also able to lay facts that will help them see that, okay, they may be wrong, or they are not saying it, they should be saying it. So you should have enough information. And in some cases, no matter the information you have, no matter how, tagged you are, some persons will not just listen to you. Well, there are cases where you just make sure you do your bit, make sure you say the word, make sure you speak it to their ears, and you have said it and they heard you, and you are done. You dust your slippers and go, or you dust your shoes and go. Some persons you may not be able to do anything about it, but for some persons to, they need to hear it consistently. They need to hear it again and again and again and again before they would actually get to understand better, or before they would also want to be a part of the course. There's this program we run in I run an organization, and the nature of our activities are such that we do them very consistently, and we post about them, we talk about them. So we have had people that eventually joined us after over a year, after a 2 year period. So they will come out and reach out and be like, "Well, I've been seeing your works for the past 1 year, for the past 2 years, and I've always been thinking I should join. I should also be part of it." But because the message has, they've been seeing it consistently, so eventually they get to join. So being that this is not something that people readily accept, especially when it's not comfortable for them, you must learn never to keep quiet. And when I say never to keep quiet, I mean you must continue to use all channels possible to pass the message across. So if you want to engage an organization and they are not giving you audience, you have tried. If they are not giving you audience, come back some other time, try again. Maybe is there somebody you can get to in the organization that if this person gets to listen to me, if this person gets to understand what I'm saying, it can help to clear a pathway to really get into this organization. If I'm able to influence this person to grant me access to these persons that he or she works with. So sometimes, like we stated, if it's not about money, people don't want to listen.
Absolutely.
And you have to always that this is more than money. This is for a bigger cause. There are sustainable practices that also encourage financial. That also encourage economic improvements. So depending on whatever or however you want to address the issue or educate or enlighten the group of persons or the caliber of persons or the sector or the office or whomever, just make sure you say the word to them. If they don't listen, you have said the word. Try as much as possible again and again. And if you are connected with these people, if they have access to your social media pages, your WhatsApp, your Facebook, LinkedIn, you have to consistently represent all of these things that try to talk to them about. Sometimes word of mouth may not even work, or it will only work after people have seen that you have continually practiced these things, or you have continually talked about these things. One day you get to them. So just keep trying, keep doing your best. And if at the end of the day nobody listens, you have that satisfaction, you have that rest of mind or the peace of mind, knowing that you have tried really. You cannot penetrate. So just keep trying.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that wonderful feedback. And just like you mentioned, consistency is very key. And many of these things, which are the great development experts we see out there today are doing, are things that at first, when they started, nobody accepted it and nobody welcomed it, and people were just laughing at them. And within a period of 3-5 years, it became global and winning the space. And with consistency and hard work, just like Mr. Mayokun said, it's you are going to win big at the end of it all. I would like to take the very last question from my hand. Definitely, I know there might still be one question which we also take from the participant for tonight. And this has to do with the goal of ECO30, which is to educate and enlighten individuals and also to adopt sustainable habits and lifestyle in daily, weekly, and monthly occasions. I would like to share more advice on how individuals can get to sustain and commit to these practices and principles beyond the 30 days challenge. Yeah, definitely by April 30, we are going to end the maybe the first series for 2023. But how can people get to sustain and commit to these practices?
Okay, can I go now?
Yes, you can go on.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you. So again, awesome work we have been doing with the challenge. Kudos to the team behind it. Kudos to everybody that has joined on it. Kudos to everybody posting daily, everybody participating. If you are here and you are not participating in the challenge, Mr. Emmanuel, if you can, my folks are on this call, and it will be interesting to have them during the challenge too. So please jump on board if you have not already. And beyond the 30 days, really, if you are able to do this for up to 30 days or even for much less, if you miss some days and all that, again, I have stressed the importance of understanding and being convinced to yourself that what you are doing, participating in this challenge, to take on daily practices that would amount to transforming the environment, to transforming our world, is a big deal. Don't see it as a small deal. And if you continue to do it, it becomes a lifestyle, and it becomes a message to people. If people know you, for example, that when let me mention somebody's name from if people know, for example, that whenever Oluwafemi is anywhere Oluwafemi is, he does not condone littering. You can't throw a waste on the ground around him. He's going to shout, he's going to scream, he's going to talk about it, he's going to react, he's going to pick it up. Just people know that you're not comfortable with littering. Sometimes people would make jest of you, would want to maybe annoy you or play with you, as they will say, by doing that intentionally to see how you respond or to make fun of you and all that. But the message remains, you have been able to pass the message across, and they already have this identity. You've created an identity in them that with this person you don't get to manage wastes. If they know you, if they know that Esther never buys bottled water, she's always with a water bottle. That's an identity you are creating. That's a message you are passing. If they know that, if they know in your home, for example, that Mary, whenever she's leaving the house, she always puts up the lights. Somehow you are passing the message across to other members of the family that when you are leaving the house, put up the light. Maybe one day somebody would even ask you that, why do you always put up the lights when you are leaving? Leave it on now. And you've seen. And that we talk about, when people see them, we are already preaching the message. So the reason why you cannot stop doing them is because if you stop doing them, it becomes a one-time thing, and nobody will take it serious that, it's because there was a challenge that you did it. And after that, you were shouting, don't throw waste on the floor for 30 days. And after 30 days, you yourself are throwing waste on the floor and all that. So what are you telling us? What are you talking to us about? But if it becomes a lifestyle after beyond these 30 days, then again, you cement that identity in people's mind, and that's the way of educating people and bringing people on board.
Absolutely.
So there are sometimes that you would also miss it. Sometimes you find yourself doing things that, I should not have done this for participating in this challenge. I should not have done this. I have done something unsustainable. But please give yourself breathing space. You can't completely change your behavior in some people say in 21 days you can change behavior. But sometimes you still fall back to previous bad habits. So give yourself time to really build on better behavior, and you have to be consistent at it. Consistency is what really gets the message across. The consistency will create the identity, and the identity will pass the message across on the long term and perpetually. And if we are able to imbibe all of these habits now, all of these little ways, it gets to define the kind of person we become. It changes our orientation about how we interact with people, how we interact with the planet, how we interact when it comes to issues of profit. It also encourages us to work with other persons who have this inclination, who have this orientation, and that's partnerships. So if you practice all of these habits continually, you will be surprised that eventually when you want to build your house, one of the things you'll be thinking about mostly is sustainability. How can I build my house to be more sustainable? How can I build my house to be very green? How can I build my house to be energy efficient? How can I build my house to have a proper waste management system? Or in your workplace, how can we improve on our waste management system in this office? Do we have to print? Do we really have to print some of these, documents? Can't we just exchange them via email? Can't we just do soft copy exchange and manage them? You begin to think all of these little practices will begin to affect all the other parts of life. We are becoming a more wholesome agent for transformation of our world. So I encourage us really to, beyond the 30 days, continue to do all of these things in our day-to-day activities, imbibe sustainability as our watchword. So if you want to do anything, one of the first things that will come to your mind is, okay, is this the sustainable way to do it or not? So it begins from a place um, of intentional action. You think about it, okay, how best to do this. And when you have done it intentionally for so long, that's conscious intentionality. Then it becomes an unconscious intentionality. You don't have to think about it anymore. This is your own way of managing waste. This is your own way of managing energy. But that lifestyle would only come if you first of all throw yourself at it and intentionally practice it beyond 30 days. Trust me, 30 days is not enough. Even a year may not be. So
absolutely. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayokun. Thank you for those wonderful feedbacks and knowledge you shared with us. It's been a great session with you this evening, and we hope to have you and hear you speak on sustainable living practices once. And really want to appreciate each and every participant that joined the call tonight. It's meant to be a 1 hour discourse, and we won't like to take it, we won't like it exceeds the stipulated time, because we believe we all have things which we are very engaged with. I would just like to pass one or two information before we end today's call.
That's a question that is yet that's not attended to yet. Somebody. Okay, my first question has not been answered from
Okay. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Okay, Mr. Mayo, I would just appreciate if we can attend to that question in less than 2 minutes. Briefly attend to it. It's a question in line.
Is very long. Should I read it out here and attend to it?
Yes, you can attend to it directly.
Okay, one of the benefits of living sustainably is reduction in costs. However, it's quite unfortunate that using Nigeria as a case study, once there's a constant increase in the demand of a material or product, say sustainable products, companies tend to increase the price rapidly, and the quality of the product is reduced. Hence, this sometimes leads to inability of some people to purchase such products, which will bring them back to the initial product once left. What can be done to track this down? This question is very deep. Very, very deep. But I don't know. I think that sometimes when a product becomes common and a lot of producers are making it, I think many times that's when it gets cheaper, because everybody wants to sell it and each company is trying to get most customers for it. And though, yes, quality may reduce over time or something, but sometimes the price gets cheaper, but of course, sometimes it gets more expensive too. So the whole sustainability agenda is not a task for just individuals. Why we are stressing the role of individuals in all of this, we also need many other stakeholders on board, and one of them is our government, our leaders. So if we are able to get sustainable products into the market that people are buying or that people have decided to start buying, now it would be helpful to really have our governments or our leaders who must be sustainability inclined themselves to help to regulate the price of some of these products. In cases where, okay, because people are now using this, everybody wants to sell it and increase price or reduce quality. So our leaders, our governments can help to regulate the cost and also ensure that it is standard or that standard is maintained. But again, it comes back to, I'll bring it back to individuals, because when we say our government, it's people that make up the government. So if we have done beautiful work of educating the people that gets to the government, say for example, our age range, our generation of youth, if all of us get sustainability conscious or environmental sustainability conscious, many of us will go on eventually to become leaders. And when we become these leaders are served in positions where they have to, design policies, create regulations, and also help to enforce their implementation. It should be easier because they are sustainability inclined, and it should be easier to push agendas that would help to promote sustainability or the sales or enforcement of standard for sustainability products. So why we need government, we cannot overestimate the role of education, educating other people, your friend, your family, whoever. So educate everybody, and if everybody is more informed, then we can have a government that will act as needed. And another angle to it is that if more people are informed, then we can raise voices together. If all of us on this call are raising voice about a sustainable product that we need the price to come down, or we need the standard to be maintained, we may not really get attention. But if we have been able to educate others, and everybody in, maybe 50 million people from 200 million Nigerians are raising voice about that product, there's a tendency that would be responded to. But that also comes from the place of educating them. So if everybody gets educated, then it makes the job easier. I hope I was able to answer your questions to some extent.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for that wonderful feedback, Mr. Mayokun. It's, like I said, it's been a wonderful and engaging section with you tonight, and we hope to have more and more. My green king, and I will always call you that. So I was about sharing, and sincerely we appreciate. Let me just let me end by saying this: that really appreciate your presence tonight, and we appreciate the partnership of organization on this project, on the Sustainable Living Challenge. We so much appreciate you. Thank you for thank you for always being part of development projects. And I would just like to say one or two things in line to the program, which is very important for each and every one of us to note. Please, it's very important you fill the tracking and evaluation form. It's very important, and we've come a long way from day 1 to day 15. Here we are today, we are moving to day 16. And if you've not done that, please ensure you do that. And it's more easy for you to fill. It's either you fill it daily or weekly. So a day like this, you are meant to fill for, let's say, day 10 to that should be day 9 to date. So if you've not done that, ensure you do it. And at the end of this challenge, we are hoping to be having some winners. And also, this series is meant to be a weekly activity, which is we are meant to have by 7 p.m. Though we are going to do a little evaluation and feedback from participants to have their own perception about the timing and the program and all during the course of the week. And the program managers too are going to be reaching out to us. Definitely there are some other activities which they are going to launch during the course of these coming weeks. And we just have 2 weeks more to end this challenge. Please, let's do everything possible. Just like Mr. Mayoku mentioned earlier, that there is no how you are going to be posting this on your status, aside the fact that you are practicing it, aside the fact that you are telling people within your household, aside the fact you are telling people at your place of work, in as much as you are sharing this. And social media has one of the most powerful tools to get information across your network. In as much as you are posting this for 30 days, definitely you have someone, or let me say multiple people that are following the challenge, and they love to learn and be part of it. That's one way which you can contribute to also achieving sustainable development. And we've been keen about it. Awareness. We need to do more advocacy, education, and enlighten people about these various activities of sustainable development. And I believe the remaining 15 days, we are going to commit to it actively and proactively. And I once again want to appreciate all the project team for ECO30 Challenge. Thank you for the wonderful work you've been doing, and really appreciate your efforts. And to our facilitator again, thank you for tonight, and all the participants for today's in tonight's series. Thank you for joining. We hope to see you and connect with you next week, Saturday. Please look forward to the activities of this coming week. It's going to be more enlightening and more engaging. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.